WM form training. Next video in the series, we're going to look at irrigation. This is variable grade. We will have to tell the program where we want our pipe. So again, it's just the same field. We select irrigation, we come up here to our add pipeline. This particular field, this right here is the high, would be the regular high of the field, so we would want to put our irrigation pipe down this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, with my cursor, I'm just going to mark out a pipeline right up here at the top. Okay, we do not want to cross the boundary. That will stop our pipe, so we just need to follow the edge of the field, bring it on down, all the way to the bottom down here, and we will click complete. Alright, now you see how these lines here have self-populated. That would be those are our rows essentially. Okay, we don't like them rows. We will put those rows downhill direction on 270 degrees, and now you see we have our rows generally covering the whole field. Okay, right down here at the bottom we don't quite. So what we can do is we can drag our pipe down here to where we cover 90% of the field. Okay, this here little area is real short, real narrow. Okay, so that's covering our whole field. Next, of course, we can do our balanced import and export. We're going to just leave it on balance now. Again, we have a width. This width is a spacing. That is a computer or a program generated number. I like to calculate on something different than what it calculates on. You can leave it. We'll just go ahead and leave it. Okay. Minimum slope of 1/10.5. Maximum slope I don't care about. Max rate of change. This is a smoothing factor. You can leave it on 3.281, but I like to change it. I like to put the max rate of change on 10. That's what I default to. Okay. Then we want to tell it how many feet we will let it fall that 10%. Okay. So 100, well, let's just back up. 10 feet would be the least amount of smoothing. 50 would be more, 100 would be more, all the way up to 300. 300 is about the most you will get. This downhill direction, generally, I just put on 10 and 100. That's just a generic number or a default number that I just put in, okay? Minimum slope, maximum slope, the cross slope. This will let the cross slope fall right or left of the downhill direction. Okay, so we go minimum slope right and left. I don't want anything more than, let's say, 1/10.5. I don't want anything less than, that's right, anything more than 1/10.5. That's going to give us quite straight lines. First off, what I like to do is I like to just leave this on nothing. I come down here to 10 again and then 300. So what this is doing is this is just smoothing the side to side contours. Now you see how I had a 0 in here. That would not let it fall. That would basically straight levy this field. Like the contour lines would be straight. So you want to just leave it on none if you just want to smooth the contours. Okay. At this point, we're going to calculate this field. We're going to keep on working. We're going to come down here. We're going to copy this design, and we're going to rename it so that we can keep track of what we got. This initial design, of course, we can rename it. And how I got that to pop up was I clicked on the design, and then I right-clicked and hit rename. Okay. So my initial design, option 1, 336 yards to the acre, be sure that this is selected so that you're on the right one, option 1, and let's go up here to our editor settings. Let's go to proposed surface, and then let's go to proposed contours. Okay, now this would drain water from the top to the bottom on each row at no less than a minimum of 1/10 and a half. Now, right in through here, we have way too much side fall. So we need to throttle that, but this is just a starting point of what we could do. Okay. Now, of course, this again would be the cut fill contours and everything like that. Okay. I'm going to just go back to propose. I like to look at those. Now let's go over here to option 2. Option 2 we have not calculated. Nothing shows up here in the bottom left. We'll come over here to our width. Let's put that on 25. Let's go down here and throttle our slopes. Okay, we're going to calculate it like that. Down in the bottom, there's time remaining 31 seconds. That is to when the calculation gets done. After that calculation gets done, it has to generate the reports, and that takes a minute. If you get a big design, it will take just a little bit to get that to come up. Okay, these reports up here are just like any of the others. You can turn stuff on, you can turn stuff off. I do not like those lines. There we go. We can shut that off. There is a grid every 100 foot of a cut and fill number. Like you've got your existing, your desired, and a cut fill, if you're used to that. Alright, we'll go back to our design editor. We'll look at this option 2 now. See, here's 370 yards to the acre. And let's look at our proposed designs. Okay, you see here now that it took out some of this bad, all of this these real high side fall areas. Okay, and I'm thinking that I said something wrong here. That needs to be 1 over 100 or up to 300. So 1 over 100 or 1 over 10 would be the least, 1 over 300 would be the greatest. Let's calculate that again just to see what kind of, because this is jagged. We want to smooth all that out. Okay. Again, while it's calculating, we can do another third option and do whatever we want to on it. Okay, let's put a max of 0.2, for instance. We'll calculate that one. There's no limit to how many of these you can get, other than it's just that we'll slow down your computer. Okay. Alright, now you see we're 1 over 300. All this is a lot smoother. Now this field would actually work at this point. 415 yards to the acre, variable grade, would get water from up here down here. Okay, let's actually do a comparison. Let's go back to land leveling. Let's take this out. Let's put it all into one field. Let's click the downhill direction. Let's click in 270. Let's put in a slope of, let's just say 0.2, and let's hit calculate, and this needs to be selected also. Alright, so that, delete section line, there we go. Okay, so best fit, you have 736 yards to the acre, and this is the high. We would not like this because our well would have to be over here. But anyway, best fit straight grade versus variable grade on this particular field. We would have to build us a pad up here to drain water off of. Everything would work. Our high would be right here. So we would need to build a flat pad all the way over here, but again, we're 415 yards an acre versus 700 and something. So that's definitely 40% better, for sure. Okay. So this here is actually almost straight leveling the field, getting real close. So 767, this would not be a good design. Okay. And that changed because I put me a max slope of 2/10. If I take that out, calculate it again, it would go back to this option right here. Okay. So variable grade, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of playing around you can do. A lot of something that it just takes time. Variable grade takes time. Irrigation designs are quicker than drainage, are not quicker than drainage. They're quicker than subdesign areas. Subdesign area, it definitely has its place because with big projects you need more than one area. In this right here, you can only have one pipeline per iteration, and so basically irrigation is just a single design for a field is what it is. Okay, so you can limit cut depth in this also. One thing that I haven't really talked about is this bar down here, export design, export cut sheet. These are all grayed out because a variable grade design needs to be purchased from Trimble. Okay, whenever you click purchase, it pops up, say log in to your connected farm and all of this. And no, we're not going to, but you just follow the directions through there for the variable grade design. Okay. These other fields, you can compare current design with another selected design. I haven't fooled with a lot of these other than this button right here, copy selected design. Okay, another tool that I like to use is this 3D viewer. You come down here and click 3D viewer. Let's not show original. Let's exaggerate the vertical a good ways, and then take your mouse and you can see what the field will actually lay like out there. Okay, I like to just look at that just to make sure if there wasn't something obvious to do there. Across the top you've got your pan tool, your zoom tools, marquee zoom, and then zoom to fit. And then look back at the top if you all of a sudden get this thing way out of whack and you don't know where it's at. You can just click this top button and it jumps it right back to what it was. That's a tool. That's a 3D viewer tool that you can use. Of course, your summary is all the same. Tells you an overview of what you got in the field. Proposed, again, this is total moved in the whole project. Your area, cut yards, and everything. And then cut fill, of course. You can adjust what you see there. Take on, take off, whatever you need to. Cut fill analysis tool. Let's talk about that a little bit in the design editor here. And then again a flow path. So let's go to a cut fill analysis and then let's turn on our flow paths. Okay, maybe this would be even a little better in that right there. Now if you come out here you can look and see how much area is in that flow path, 0.26 of an acre. You come down here and look at that one, there's 0.81 of an acre. Your flow paths are where your drain is going to be. Okay, then you can change this precipitation stuff to more or less flow paths. You can just adjust that to however many you want to see, what makes sense to you. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this little icon right here in the top left of the design page, your bearing and spacing. So spacing comes up with 82.8 and 82.02, and I like to just put something in there that I can understand, so I just put in 200, and then you turn this on by show visible grid. Okay, so your bearing is 0. This is 0 and 180 and 270 and 90, and each one of these lines now is 200 foot apart. Okay, so if you wanted a section line or something like that through here, you would align your field by clicking your mouse, the scroll bar, clicking your mouse, moving the field around. Then you would know from this point, 200 feet, 200 feet, 200 feet, you can calculate kind of the distance there. This comes into play more in the sub-design areas of this program. So, but that is what that's for. Now you can change up your design, you can change it, how your bearing, you can change it to whatever you want it to be. So then that would be 80 degrees. Everything would be 80 degrees there. 0 would be straight up and down, and then of course your spacing. Alright, again, when you get done with your designing, be sure to save the design. So you can either hit save as. See, I've got my FMXE here, and I have saved this previously to training MPH. That's a Trimble WM form file. So if you hit save as and you want to save it as the same name, just click it and it pops your file name in here, and hit save, and it says, do you want to replace it? And yes. If you don't hit save as, you can just come over here and hit the save button, and it will save to exactly where you saved it previously. I think that's all for this video. There will be another video with sub-design areas.